What's up, everybody? This is Georgia Assassin back again with Assassin's Week in Review podcast number 4. Getting on up there, slowly but surely. This week we got a special guest, none other than Thirdgunmen / Katie Hooligan from our WWC chat. He'll be joining me today. We'll be going over a few things, getting answers to all your questions, and picking his mind and see what he's got on his mind. I'd like to thank D-Rod again for giving me an opportunity for this. This wouldn't be possible without WWC. I'd like to thank my sponsors from Wolfpack Juice Box Company. I think that's about it, folks. So let's get Mr. Gummin in here and get this started. You there, Third Gummin?
I am here.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so very much for having me. It's an honor and a privilege.
It's an honor having you on.
I couldn't pass it up. This was an opportunity. I mean, I'd be lying if I said that, when you said you were starting to have guests on your podcast, I'd be lying if I said I didn't hope deep down that at some point I might actually be a guest. So I'm really stoked about it. I can't thank you enough.
Well, you're very welcome, and thank you for coming on. Well, I usually start the show off. I'll ask you some questions from myself and the viewers, and let them nitpick your brain a little bit and get some.
I am
some of
I am
that.
very curious to see what it was that anyone might have had to ask me.
Yep. Then usually after the questions, what I usually like to do is go over. I don't have Carnage card this week, but I do have Anarchy, so I like to usually get mine and the guest picks on the matches for that card this week. So we'll go over the Anarchy's card this week and get mine and your picks on that.
Sounds good.
Then after that, I pretty much turn the floor over to you and let you, say what you want to say. Pretty much, let you get anything off your chest that you may have on it, or
Huh. Well, I'll have to start thinking about that now.
Yep, you'll have your few minutes of talk time, and then today I got a special thing to bring up with you. I'll do that at the end of the podcast, and then anything else comes up before then, we'll go over that too.
Nice.
So what we'll do now is if you're ready to take some questions, I'll start asking you some questions here.
Well, by all means, fire away.
Alright, first question is from myself. Have you ever done a WWE move to any of your friends in real life?
Yes, unequivocally, it's more than I can count. When I was a kid, me and a bunch of my friends, we used to put on like a full-on wrestling show. I mean, I had belts made. I mean, just the most outlandish nonsense you could think with glitter and tinfoil and actual leather straps. And I mean, I went full bore on this nonsense. And yeah, a bunch of my friends always used to get together. My dad used to scream up and down about how we were all going to end up paralyzed, and we knocked the chain link fence down in my backyard. It was great, man. I loved it. So yeah, I've done all kinds of moves. You name it, I've done it.
Oh, that's great. Alright, next question. Who in the WWC that you haven't had a chance to wrestle would you like to get in the ring with?
Did we get lost?
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say, did I need to elaborate more? I got more if you want.
Oh, no. I was looking over my questions. My bad. Had a little brain dead moment there for a second. My next question is, who in the WWC that you haven't had a chance to wrestle would you like to get in the ring with immediately?
Immediately. There's a lot. So I think that a match, it should go without saying. There's Wick, there's yourself. I wouldn't mind revisiting the matches I've had, or the match I had with Donnie Havoc. Um, that match when he pinned both myself and Master Funk. That was great. You can't script that stuff. He pinned us both. I mean, even though we played it off, that was a great match. So revisiting that would be cool. So, but yeah, I think anybody in the Wolfpack, I think, would be an interesting matchup, just because it's always good to see inter-faction rivalries, and because and just the nature of Wick being the leader and myself kind of new, not anymore, but we've never had a moment in the ring, so I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, we've never seen you and Wick in the ring, so yeah, that would be pretty interesting. You and Pee Wee Tyler would be pretty interesting too.
Oh, absolutely. Or some of my recent favorites like Cobalt or Dallas Havoc. I think those are some of the most original characters I've seen come along in a while. So, not to take anything away from the Havoc factions, all those cats, they've got some pretty demonic looking cause. I always kind of gravitate towards, but yeah, lots of people out there that I could be in the ring with, and I'd be okay with it.
Yeah, I really like the or Dallas Havoc call too myself.
Brilliant, just brilliant.
Yep. All right. Next question. Speaking of Donnie, give me one word to describe Donnie Havoc.
Hmm. Um, Similar, and I say that in regards, or in comparison to myself. I think he called it out pretty quick when he told me about the Sinister movies and how he dug those, his predilection towards horror, and what he brings, or how he brings that into the WWC. I would say similar. I very much on the same page. I'm not over the top into horror movies like I used to be, but when I was younger, I was very much into that sort of thing. And the fact that he does construction, I was a fully licensed and insured general contractor for about 6 years of my life. So I just I uh, a connection there, kind of, just a relatability that I guess similar would just be the best way I could sum it up for you.
Yeah, sounds good to me. He is an odd fella though. Sometimes. Next question from me. All right. So the first ever Carnage combined poll has been released, and they got you listed as number 7. What's your thoughts on being number 7?
Uh, anybody who spends time talking to me outside of the chat, knows that I'm just here to have fun. I mean, obviously, I like to go for titles and be involved in storylines or rivalries and stuff, but it's really not. I'm just in it to hang out with good people and to have some fun. So, um, put me at 7, put me at 27. I'm really not that concerned with it. I will say that I do like the percentage polling aspect of the rankings now. I think that'll help um, it'll help put an emphasis on people who are just winning, period, as opposed to just number of matches. I mean, you could have 88 matches, but if you've lost 75% of them, that doesn't that doesn't mean your cause doing well necessarily. So I think this opens the door for a lot of other people, and especially the new cats coming in. It'll help get them in the polls or get them in the rankings a little quicker than it might have otherwise, and keep them involved. Because I know for some of the younger people who are involved in the EFED, of course they want to go after titles. That's understandable. They want to conquer the world. So you can't begrudge them that. But to answer your question specifically, me at number 7, hey, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. I know that puts me. I think it's what the fusion title. I believe I could be wrong, but I think it's the fusion title is the rankings I'm in right now. And
Basing it off of belt rankings, I think that puts you in the IC hunt actually.
oh, you know what? I think you're right. I
Cause
think you're
top
right.
5 is the heavyweight, so yeah, that puts you second in line for the IC title going by the poll rankings.
Well, I love the Intercontinental Championship. That's got to be one of my most. Yeah, I'm okay with that. I'll take it.
Sweet. All right, now on to some your favorite guy in chat, D-Rod questions. His first question, his first questions is, when did you learn how to make logos?
Oh, wow, that's a good question. Um, I'm still learning. But it was WWE 2K15 was when I decided to actually put any kind of artistic talent I may have had onto or transition it over to a computer. I've always considered myself an artist. I'm pretty good with a pencil, and I've done tattoos and stuff like that. So I was perfectly confident in my ability to do it. It was just learning the software, getting familiar with the medium, and it just kind of grew from there. From the patently ridiculous to some of the more serious, stuff that I really sit down to try and do, something special and unique. It's all. It's amazing what you can do on computers these days. As someone who's and I'm sure you can attest to it, being a little older, it amazes me sometimes what we can do. Even just us talking here like this, pretty amazing stuff going on with technology these days. Um, so yeah, 2K15 is the answer to the question. That was when I first started to do logos on any kind of computer format, and that's where I am today, all from 2K15.
Yeah, because I remember when I was younger sitting there waiting for AOL to dial up before I can get on the internet.
Oh, I know, right? And that modem noise, the screeching and the nonsense. I don't miss those days so much.
Yep, go to the grocery store and grab about 12 of the free online CDs and
Right.
backups. All right, this next question. First question is a kind of throw off question. Second question is, how does it feel to be a cowboy?
I knew it was coming. Um, I'll wear it with pride, man. I don't mind. I'll wear it with pride. It feels fantastic. And this cowboy just so happens to be ranked number 7, which is second in line for the IC title.
There you go, D-Rod. He's proud to be a cowboy.
Absolutely.
All right, this third question. One thing, in your opinion, to make the WWC better overall?
Oh, better overall. Well, I think it's a pretty solid package. I mean, there's certainly other eFeds out there, and I'm not spending a whole lot of time in those streams. So I think the only it's hard with 2K17 because the game is so flawed. I think if there was one thing that I don't know if it would make it better or worse, but I think maybe trying to incorporate some of the in-game mechanics, like with setting rivalries up within universe mode, so that you might run the risk of seeing like if, for instance, like me and Mr. Havoc are having this little feud. If you put us in universe mode and had us actual enemies, there might actually run a risk to where if I'm having a match with anybody, there might be a chance that Mr. Havoc comes out and interferes with the match. And you can, and again, applying that to anyone, just taking advantage of what the game can actually do. And time will tell. Like I said, the game is flawed, so it could wind up, crashing it out or glitching it out. But it might be worth a shot. So that would be my only suggestion to help add to what I consider to be a pretty good overall product, to be honest.
Yeah, WWT has come a long way since the beginnings. All right, his next question is your thoughts on Mr. Havoc.
Well, I love Mr. Havoc. Out of character, without doing any kind of gimmick or shtick. Number one, I totally appreciate the fact that you guys went out to honor him the way you did. Even with like Tater Tot as well, same thing. I mean, it's a classy move, and I really just kudos to you guys for coming up with it, thinking about including these cats. I mean, that's a feel good kind of thing. Now to switch it and go into character. Well, let me tell you something about Mr. Havoc. He likes to run around and stick his nose into affairs that don't concern him. If he's smart, he'll stay out of KD Hooligan's way and let me march onto my Intercontinental Championship. If he decides to stick his nose in my business again, well, he may not be too happy about what he finds. Cry hooligan, and let's slip the dogs of war.
Yeah, because he's done cost you one title.
Exactly. I don't take too kindly when people start trying to take money out of my pockets.
And when he puts you in that, that pile driver of his, it's usually over. That's a nasty looking pile driver he has.
That pile driver, the whole thing. Actually, that goes right back to Macho Man has got to be one of my favorite all-time wrestlers. So for to see Mr. Havoc come out as the Macho Man too, it's just a great idea all around. Very, very cool.
All right, D-Rod's next question. You heard that, Carnage. Better take your control of Mr. Havoc before Thirdgunmen takes him out. His next question was, which show is better and why?
Oh, stop. Talk about a no-brainer.
That's a typical D-Rod question, huh?
Right? Carnage, hands down. Anarchy's nothing but a bunch of cowboy smurfs running around with NWO logos. You come to Carnage where the real men play. I mean, yeah, just KD Hooligan's presence alone is worth the price of admission. But then you hands down, Carnage is where it's at. Everybody knows it. The polls have been showing it for weeks now. He's in desperation mode. He's looking for any kind of edge he can find. You can't pick this brain. You can't pick this brain. I'm not going to give you any advantages. No way. You're going to go down with that shit, buddy.
There you go, D-Rod. That's all D-Rod's questions. I'm sure he got all the answers he needed. If not, you can explain it in Cowboy Terms in chat, I guess.
Right.
Next few questions is from your Wolfpack leader, Wick Villa. His first question is, if you could make your own juice box flavor, what would it be?
Oh, my own juice box flavor. I think coffee. I'm a coffee drinker. I think a coffee flavored juice box would suit me just fine.
Man, you're talking about some caffeine overload there, buddy.
Right?
I don't know how that tastes too. Well, it might taste alright. Sugar and some coffee.
Imagine little kids running around. Coffee.
Oh God. It probably wouldn't last very long.
Yeah, probably not. That'd get pulled from the market pretty quick.
Yep. Kids go on a psychotic rampage from sugar overdose. Mr. Wick's second question is, which Wolfpack member would you want to fight for a title and why?
I think this goes back to my earlier answer. I think that a match between Wick and myself for some kind of gold that has epic written all over it. Not to take away from the other Wolfpack members, they're all top shelf superstars in my opinion. But I think between me and I think me and Wick would be that would be special. That would be um, that would be a marquee matchup right there.
Yeah, it would. Book it, Wick. You heard it. Straight from
You
the
heard
top.
it.
It's
You heard it
You
here.
versus Wick for gold. Book it. All right, Wick's last question is, what did they do to Pee Wee in the asylum?
On that, I can't comment. I really don't know. When I'm there, I'm pretty much stuck in my room. Candace will let me out every once in a while, but that's usually only for the shocks. So my line of sight on Pee Wee was very, very limited. He was kept away from me. I have no idea. I can only imagine.
Yeah, I haven't heard much about him the past few days. Makes us wonder if he's still alive or not.
Who knows?
Well, we did see him at the fair. That was pretty cool of her to let you and Pee Wee go to the fair.
Well, yeah, you know what's a fair. She's not unreasonable. She's not unreasonable. She's firm but fair.
But my question is to you, Thurgoman, all this free time she gives you, what keeps y'all from just taking off and running and trying to get away from the asylum?
Well, you know, it's like the sign says. It says "Welcome home." And there's something just strangely familiar and comforting about those dark, gray, chipped up concrete walls. The sounds of screams in the night. It's just comforting to me. I don't know.
Those
It's hard to
screams are
explain.
probably Pee Wee. He was caught trying to actually chew through the wall with his teeth, so it's probably him screaming.
That's it. Yeah, we're wondering what happened to his molars.
Yep. All right, that's it from Wick. Got two questions from your other friend in chat, Mr. Tyler.
Tyler, no
Yep.
kidding.
His first question is, what inspired you to make your call look like he does?
That's actually a really good question. It was this past Wrestle Kingdom with Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada, and I watched that match, and it just reminded me of when AJ was in the Bullet Club in New Japan, and just the the style of wrestling in New Japan is just very. I mean, one, it's hard hitting, um, and I just there's a there's a level of legitimacy that I think is lacking in the current WWE product, and what it lacks, I find in New Japan and in NXT, honestly. Um, so after I watched Wrestle Kingdom, I guess what was it, 11, this 11, 12, somewhere in there, whatever it was, this past one, I was just I was very much on that athletic, hard hitting kind of kick, and I thought maybe I could do a little something similar to that with my character. Make him a little more Bullet Club esque, more AJ esque, more Kenny Omega esque, and which was why I like the half Nelson driver. I think that move is sick. Um, so yeah, that was really the motivation behind it. I really wanted to capture that for my character, and I not for nothing, but I think I pulled it off pretty well. I'm happy with it, and really that's really as far as it needs to go. But yeah, that's where it came from.
Yeah, that's all that matters as long as you're happy with it. That's
Right.
a good explanation, though. Tyler's second question is, who is your favorite wrestler of all time?
All time. Well, it's kind of a double-edged. Well, not a double-edged sword, but it is a tricky question because much like D-Rod, I am a huge Triple H fan. Just his work ethic, the way he grounded out, taking some terrible gimmicks, making them his own. and still managing to win over the crowd the way he did. It's a testament to just what a professional he was and is. And but I got to give it to the Macho Man Randy Savage. Um, I for the time I remember, just as real quick as an example, there nowadays you'll see a champion lose their title with outside interference, and usually that leads to a rivalry somewhere down the road. And usually they'll hot potato the title, whichever title it may be. They'll go back and forth and back and forth, and that's part of the reason I'm not really feeling the WWE these days. It's too much hot potato. But Macho Man Randy Savage, I remember watching vividly, as if it was yesterday, the match between himself and Tito Santana when he won the Intercontinental Championship. And he pulled the foreign object, the dreaded foreign object out of his tights, whacked Tito in the head during a backdrop from the ring apron back into the ring. Covered Tito Santana, took the title, and that was the last time Tito Santana ever saw championship gold in the WWF at the time. And Macho Man, he epitomized what wrestling could be with that performance at WrestleMania 3 against Ricky Steamboat. Unbelievable. That was the first 6-star match anyone had ever seen. And the whole thing, man, just the way he carried himself with the Intercontinental title, the way he was a douchebag and talked down to Miss Elizabeth. And she was beautiful at the time. I mean, just more so than eye candy. I mean, just unbelievable. It was a great time to be a wrestling fan, and Macho Man epitomized everything that I thought wrestling could be. And also, he was a smaller guy. I'm not real big myself, so to see not quite a cruiserweight, but a smaller guy get that much success, you got to applaud that. So, Macho Man Randy Savage.
It's a good choice. Very good choice. Now, on to Donnie Havoc's questions.
All right.
I hope the universe is prepared for these. I hope Thirdgunmen is prepared for these. Okay, let's just get started. I don't have any more to say about him. His first question is to you: Rosie O'Donnell or Martha Stewart?
Martha. Martha Stewart, all the way. You know why? Because she's got cred, man. She's been down the road. She knows what's up.
There you go, Donnie. Thirdgunmen night, Martha Stewart. Number 2. This is kind of interesting. Number 2. If someone threatened to curse you, which would you take as your curse? Number 1, uncontrollable diarrhea. Number 2, a set of women's boobs on your back. Number 3, a tattoo of Tyler's face on your forehead.
Whoa, I gotta go with the boobs on my back, no doubt. I can't be running around with dirty drawers, and I can't have Tyler's tattoo on my forehead. So yeah, it looks like just call me titty back.
I died when I read that question. I was like, wow. Titty back. Thirdgunmen the titty back.
Mine is Donnie. Once again, I'll wear it with pride.
Oh man, this is a pretty straight. It's a pretty good question. What's your current goal in WWC?
Current goal. I honestly, for my care, and this is completely honest here, I really have no aspirations for my character whatsoever. Whatever comes his way, whatever happens, I'm completely cool with. Like I said before, I'm in it to have fun. If I can have any kind of goal set for myself, it's to help in any way that I can to make it enjoyable for everybody else who watches. That's it. Bottom line.
Very good answer. Next question is if you could have any one person on the roster join Wolfpack on either Anarchy or Carnage, who would it be?
Mm. Wow, that's a tough one. I think okay, so I'm going to go with what might seem like an obvious answer, but just in the amount of stories that could be told, not only within the faction of the Wolf Pack, but the surrounding implications of it, I'm going to go with D-Rod 2222. I think him joining up with the Wolf Pack is a recipe for success for both shows. Um, I think it's just wrought with possibilities, but that's just my opinion.
I asked Wick or D-Rod a few weeks ago if he's ever been confronted to join Wolfpack, and he said that he was, but I think Wick had come back that next interview I did with him and said that he has never confronted D-Rod to join Wolfpack, so that could be a good thing or a combustible thing, really.
Right. In either way, good or combustible. What does D-Rod always say? Controversy creates cash. I think it's a win-win any way you slice it. But you're right. I think they did talk about it. That's why it's fresh in my mind. I remember rumblings between both of them, Wick and D-Rod, having the secondhand conversation, as it were. But yeah, that's my thoughts.
Cool. All right, Johnny's next question is, how long have you actually been at the asylum?
Oh, it's kind of hazy. Seems like forever now. I would have to defer to the Queen of the Damned, if you will. You'd have to ask her. It's who can keep track of such things? Days, nights. I don't know the difference.
Yeah, because I mean, you only see the outside on the weekends.
On the weekends, right?
Yeah. So there you go, Donnie. He doesn't remember. Ask your sister.
Or the shocks could have just wiped it from my memory. Either way.
Yeah, that's a possibility too. All right, this next question is a pretty good question. If you could have an opportunity to have any job you wanted, what would it be? Real life job.
Huh. Uh, Serious? Like not wrestling related? Like legit?
Yeah, I guess this is a serious question. If you could have any job in the world, what would that job be?
There's two areas that I'd like to get into, or at least always wanted to. That would be constitutional law and or um, archaeology, with obviously paleontology and geology being underneath archaeology. But those are two things that I've always wanted to do. Came close to actually looking into what it would take to get into school and what it would entail, but never actually pulled the trigger. Um, so yeah, either constitutional law, not necessarily practicing, but those would be the. When I say not practicing, I mean there's a whole host of things you can do with a degree in constitutional law. I wouldn't necessarily be a lawyer, trying cases in front of the Supreme Court, but I would like to be involved either, in the discovery process or investigatory, just any number of aspects of constitutional law that you can imagine. I'd like to be involved with that. Or an archaeologist digging around in the dirt.
Archaeologist sounds pretty cool.
Fascinated me. Always has. Always has. The minute I learned what a dinosaur was, I thought, where the hell did this come from, and how the hell did you find it? Um, and that's when, yeah, it's just amazing to me. Forensic anthropology, brilliant fields. I mean, some of the, yeah, I could go on and on about that. I'll keep it. I'll shut my mouth.
Um, Next question is favorite superhero.
Oh, great questions, man. Um, I've always been a Spider-Man fan. That doesn't necessarily mean that my loyalty lies with Marvel. I like Marvel and DC independently of each other. But Spider-Man has always been, when I was a kid, I used to make my own Spider-Man outfits and run around the house, jumping off cushions and climbing in between the hallways.
This is where we need a WWE flashback thing so we can see all these pictures of you dressed up as Spider-Man.
I've got them too. I've got Spider-Man pictures. I've got pictures of my belts and stuff. I'll have to see if I can upload them.
I'm sure the universe would like to see that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yep. So
I think they're hard. They're hard on Tyler. I can only imagine what they'd say to me.
Yeah. So favorite superhero, Donnie, is Spider-Man. All right. His next question is: I was looking for this one, but he wants to know your favorite horror movie.
uh, I gotta honestly, I was quite taken with that first Sinister movie for multiple reasons. Not just about the story. I mean, the story itself, while clever and out of the ordinary, um, there were a few things I appreciated the most about that, and one was artistic delivery. I mean, when you look at how some of the camera angles and the shots were set up, when you look at how they some of the overlays they did with how they told the story, how sometimes it was first person with the projector, the score, the music for that movie, the they did so many things right in that movie. It was one of the first times in recent memory that I remember sitting down and actually being on the edge of my seat, wondering not necessarily again where the plot was going, but where the director was going to take me next, as far as the next, panel of images. There was just a lot of really interesting and cool stuff going on in that movie. So that ranks up there, for me right now. Um, but um, as a kid, Stephen King's Cat's Eye was a movie that gave me horrible nightmares. And it's like a collection of short stories for anyone who hasn't seen it. And in particular, there's one story that has this tiny little troll guy, and that was the bane of my dreams as a kid after I watched that movie. So that one always sticks out in my mind too, as do most works by Stephen King. The Shining also ranks up there too as far as horror. And The Shining, of course, that's psychological horror, which borders on, almost that could be real life. The what goes on in the twisted mind of someone who's had it fractured. That to me is where real horror lies. And so I know I answered with way too many movies, but those are my answers.
Hey, that's what he wants. Your answers. But yeah, I agree with you on Sinister. It was a really well put together movie.
Yeah, just
Really
good
movie.
stuff.
Sinister 2 was really good too.
I enjoyed it as well. Now, I own them both now. I can't take away from part two. It was a great movie as well. But I think the first one stands out because for me it broke the mold. It built that first bridge on how the director chose to tell the story with artwork and music, and I really think there's a lot of things going on in that movie that were underappreciated.
Yep, I agree with you on that one. His next movie. Donnie's next movie is. Donnie's next question is Jason Voorhees or Michael Myers.
I'll go with Jason Voorhees, but I want to make it very, very clear that the latter movies ruined the character of Jason Voorhees. I think Jason Voorhees was the evil character that he was meant to be in maybe the first 2 movies, which I know one of those wasn't even Jason, but it laid the groundwork and told a backstory that I really think for the time, now going back to early 1980, that was yeah, I'll go with Jason all day on that one. Michael Myers is a cool character, and I like what Rob Zombie did with. Um, excuse me, I really liked the first Halloween remake that Rob Zombie did. I didn't care for the second attempt, but the first one I thought was really well done. I also really enjoyed the remake of Friday the 13th that was done just a few years back. I thought that was also really well done. I can't get behind what they chose to do with Jason Voorhees, like when Jason takes Manhattan and Jason in space. Give me a break. They totally ruined the character for me with those movies. But early Jason Voorhees, I'll take him in spades over Michael Myers any day.
Yeah, and now they got the new Jason or Friday the 13th in the works, where they're going to introduce. I guess it's way before the first Friday the 13th, where he's actually got his dad involved in the movie or something to that effect.
Really? See, I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
they're it's what I've read is they're supposed to bring in his dad, and I guess it's supposed to explain a lot of stuff or whatever. That may be why. It may explain his disfigurement, or it may answer a lot of questions, or it may just be a big flop. But I think it'd be
Well,
pretty interesting.
no, I'll definitely check it out. I mean, I'm all for character development. If they can add to that story somehow, I'll check it out. I mean, why not?
Yep. Donnie's last question is what was your favorite cartoon growing up?
Um, as a young man or as a young kid, um, this again may show my age. When I was real young, I liked Gatchaman, which for anyone who may not be familiar, they fly around in space, but they're dressed up. They look like birds of prey. They look like hawks, and I loved that. It was Japanese animation, and I was also a big Robotech fan too. When I was young, as I got older, I was on board the He-Man train as well as the Thundercats, and I can't leave out Voltron either. Um, if I had to pick one overall,
Dude, you just read my mind, because that was, I'm not taking away from your question, but that was probably my top three favorite cartoons was He-Man, Voltron, and Thundercats, following
oh
along with Transor Z.
yeah, right, Transor Z. How could I forget? You're oh man, you're right. Yeah, that's see. I don't know that I could pick if I only had one to. It could be any one of those. If I only had one to watch for the rest of my life, that was the only show I could watch. Any one of those 4 cartoons, He-Man, Thundercats, Transor Z, and Voltron. You're right. Any one of those, I won't complain.
Now I got another question for you, being you seem to know you a little bit about anime. What's your favorite anime movie or cartoon that came out?
I really dug Ninja Scroll. I think by far and away sticks out in my mind. The Adventures of Jubei, the way that they told that story. Um, there just some good stuff going on. Great animation, brutal fight scenes mixed with some cartoon nudity. I'm always a big fan of that, so can't go wrong there. So Ninja Scroll is good. I've recently revisited. I was never a big fan of Ghost in the Shell, but since I love Scarlett Johansson and that movie is coming out pretty soon, I've been revisiting Ghost in the Shell, and I I find myself looking for things to like about it. But that's what I've been watching the most of recently is Ghost in the Shell. I like what's I'm drawing a blank. Oh well, I already said the two that came to my mind first. Yeah, exactly. I already named the two that I'm watching. Ninja Scrolls goes down. Number 2 wasn't so good. It's a standalone. There's no series or nothing. It's one. But that's one of my all-time favorites. And I don't. I'll just leave it at Ninja Scroll. I guess Ghost in the Shell got an honorable mention just because I like Scarlett Johansson. But who doesn't?
As far as anime goes, as far as series, I like Vasta Stampede.
Mm-hmm.
That was a really good anime series. Now, as far as anime movies, there's two that I still watch to this day. I got them on disc, and that's Vampire Hunter D and Fist of the North Star.
Fist of the North Star, you can't go wrong. Vampire Hunter D, I'm not that familiar. I've watched little pieces of it. A buddy of mine was really into him for a while. He may still be. I don't talk to him much anymore, but he was a big Vampire Hunter D fan. So I'm not completely unfamiliar, but what I did see always looked cool. I just never really sat down and spent any time with it.
Yeah, the movie they did on it was really, really good. And the Fist of the North Star movie is probably my favorite anime movie.
Yeah, that's good stuff. In fact, that's what Ninja Scroll reminded me of was Fist of the North Star. Very, very, very. I mean, obviously, there's differences, but similar art style, similar good stuff. Good stuff.
Well, that's all the questions. A lot of information given.
Yeah, I'm hit by there was some good stuff in there. I was surprised. I really thought even with the prerequisite, joke ones, some good stuff. I hope the listeners and the WWC Universe finds it all interesting.
Been a very good show. I got a few other things to bring up with you. Then I'm gonna let you have your few minutes to voice anything you may have in your mind for the WWC or even anything else you might want to talk about. Last week I got an email from somebody wanting me to sponsor some barbecue sauce. I was like, so I was thinking barbecue sauce. What's this all about? So I got another email the next day, and it was from none other than Jim Ross from WWE, the WWE legend Jim Ross. I was like, holy crap! And he sent a picture.
Good old
So I'm gonna post this picture on my screen here for the universe to see, and then I'm gonna get a few answers from you about it. Apparently, you've been pretty secretive on this. And the WWC podcast has decided to sponsor you on this. Something about some 3G masterpiece Cowboys straight out of Bama barbecue sauce.
That's right, GA. So let me tell you the story behind this. So you're right. It started off very hush hush, and in a very confidential meeting between JR and myself and a few other people, some top chefs from around the world, we all got together and sat down and decided, hey, listen, if we're gonna put a product together, what would really be the one thing that would just capture and dominate the market, like no other sauce has done in the past? And after sitting down with some of the greatest renowned chefs the world over, and getting, of course, good old JR's input as well, we came up with what I'm confident will be the barbecue sauce at cookouts across not only America, but one day the world. And that's 3G masterpiece, Cowboy, straight out of Bama barbecue sauce. That's right, the Cowboy State has gotten on board, along with, as you've mentioned, good old JR and our poster child, our national spokesman, if you will, donning the packaging of the Cowboy barbecue sauce. Yep, we go ahead, roll Tide. It's none other than D-Rod 2222. He was a great subject for the artist, the cameraman that came in. They wanted a real good shot. that encapsulated his howness, and I think we captured it perfectly, to go on this seasoned blend of rich, smoky spices that will deliver to even the most discerning of palates will be able to appreciate this Howboy goodness.
Yeah, but I mean, JR even went as far as saying, I'll never eat my own sauce again. Thirdgunmen is a genius.
Yeah, we nailed it. We nailed it. And that's JR. He's given me way too much credit. I mean, I'll try and be humble, but he's not wrong. I consulted the very best chefs around the world, from India to France. I mean, you name it. They were involved in this project, and yeah, diversification is where it's at. Any chance, any opportunity I have to make a little bit more money, I'm all for it. And when you get behind a product that you're confident in, that you've tried yourself, and you know the flavor speaks for itself. Howboy, straight out of Bama barbecue sauce. Do yourself a favor. Pick yourself up some at your local grocery today.
Very cool. Very cool. And can't, I mean, who better to ask about barbecue sauce than Jim Ross? I mean, his barbecue sauce has been around a long time, and it sells
Long
really
time.
well. I mean, it's got to be stupidly good. I mean,
So good it's stupid.
it's so good it's stupid. I mean, if JR likes it, hey, can't go wrong there.
What other endorsement do you need?
Yep, that's right. Let's see. I thought that was really cool that you got JR's backing on your, Cowboy straight Alabama barbecue sauce, and I wanted to share that with the universe.
Well,
Like,
partnering up with Georgia Assassins Week in Review podcast was a no-brainer. We wanted to reach the largest audience possible, and it goes without saying, it could only happen right here on Georgia Assassins Week in Review podcast.
well, I appreciate it. Should boost the ratings extremely well. Um, let's see. I think we pretty much picked your brain pretty good. Got your barbecue sauce advertised. I bet you D-Rod running out right now to go get some.
Oh, him and everybody else.
Yep. He'll have T-Rod making him some barbecue Howboy ribs for supper.
Oh, the Howboy ribs.
Yep.
Howboy. Put it on chicken. Put it on a burger. You can't go wrong.
Yep. So what I'm gonna do, Mr. Thirdgunmen, is I'm gonna give you a few minutes. Anything that's been going on in chat, in your WWC career, anything like that, or anything you just want to get off your chest, now's your time. So I'm gonna give you a few minutes just to talk. Let
All
everybody
right.
hear what you got to say.
Well, I don't. If I have a few minutes to talk about anything, there's a couple things that stick out in my mind, and I don't want to make it seem like I'm picking on anybody, um, or trying to call anybody out or put them on Front Street. But two individuals come to mind. BJ, for you, I just got to say, man, stop beating yourself up all the time, please. You're not doing yourself any favors, man. Go easy on yourself. Don't call yourself so many names and talking, down about yourself. You're better than that. You're worth more than that. So stop being so hard on yourself. And man, you got friends in this chat. You've got friends in the WWC. We're not here to judge anybody needlessly or harshly or trying to be mean. And that segues into Tyler, where we all tend to go kind of hard on Tyler, myself included. But if I could have a moment to tell Tyler, lighten up, man, roll with it, go with the flow. This is coming from Tittyback right here. It's okay, man. Don't take all this shit so seriously. It's all in fun. It's all in fun, man. So just roll with it. And yeah, other than that, I love seeing all the new people. I know I was away for a while, which, oh, you know what? That's something I'll address too. My abrupt leaving before. So I'll use this opportunity to say that I didn't let my political views kind of get in the way, or my political differences with specifically D-Rod. And it was honestly, it was an overreaction on my part. Not in the sense that I'm passionate about politics and passionate about my country and the things that go on with not only myself but all of us. And um, but I let it cross over into an area where it didn't need to, even if I didn't agree with others' opinions. I have to remember that that's not how our country works. That's not how democracy works, and that's not how friends treat each other. So, an apology that I never gave, and I'm not apologizing for my positions, but I am apologizing for my reaction. I'm sorry to each and every one of you for leaving the way that I did and kind of taking my ball and going home kind of thing. It's not really who I am, and so I'm glad to be back. And yeah, sorry there was that whole nonsense.
Well,
It didn't need to happen.
I think I can speak for a lot of us. You know, politics can lead to some pretty bad squabbles between people, and
Politics and
it
religion.
happens. I mean, it happens to anybody. It happened. It's been happened. It's over. Long gone. You know, we're glad you're back. I was glad to see you back.
Well, thank you.
Um,
I'm glad to be back. I really am.
you know, WWC and UW, you know, is where would it be without Thirdgunmen? Not just discrediting any other cause, but it's good to have Thirdgunmen around. I'll
Well,
say
thank
that
you.
myself.
Thank you, GA. I appreciate that.
And I'm pretty sure there's others feel the same way. If not, then they can hit the door or whatever. Nah, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I know.
I'll open the door for
As would I.
them. But as far as chat goes, like you brought up Tyler. This is just my little piece on that. You gotta just brush that stuff off your back, man. Because if you let it get to you, it's gonna just control you, and it's just gonna drive you freaking nuts. If it bothers you, just leave the chat. Don't say anything else. I mean, that's the same thing like growing up during school. I mean, if you let a bully sit there and bully and bully and bully you and just take it, it's gonna continue. The best thing to do is just do something about it. I mean, all you can do.
No, you're absolutely right. It'll dominate your life. You gotta thicken up your skin and learn to roll with the punches. And when you take that, we all like to have fun. We all like to joke. When we can pick on each other and know that we're not. There really isn't any line too far to cross in a chat room. I mean, we've covered the territory about homophobia with Gears. We can all be sympathetic and understanding. Um, there's obviously that might be a bridge too far to go, but none of the comments are ever, I think, made from a very mean or um, a place of prejudice or anything like that. It's always just in fun, and as long as we can remember to keep that in our minds, and for Tyler especially, you just remember it's just in fun, man. You'll have way more fun if you take it, run with it, and give it right back without getting so huffy and noticeably upset about it. It can be fun for everybody involved. So
And that not only falls in there with Tyler, that goes for any of us in chat. I mean,
sure.
but you know, like I said, just let it roll off your back, man, and just move on. There's a lot of people in that chat. I will say there is a few people in that chat. If they see something that needs to be said something about, they usually chime in on it. And I'm not calling this one. Well, I'm gonna call her out. And that used to be Sarah. If Sarah was the type that if something was being brought up in chat that was kind of getting out of hand, she would usually step in and say something. But I don't know what's going on with her now. But
I saw her in. I mean, when I came back was when she had just kind of left. I did see her in the stream. I don't know whether it was last week or the week before. She was in the stream, and I thought maybe that meant that she was going to be, coming back. I still don't know the whole story. Don't need to know the whole story, but That's another one. Her presence is sorely missed. Hopefully she comes back.
And I'm gonna put this out there, me and Thirdgunmen is not, directing this toward any single person. We just want to see people enjoy chat. That's what it's here for. That's what D-Rod has brought the WWC together for, is for us to enjoy it. And, we all, as a community, need to just kind of learn to let things go and just enjoy what D-Rod has gave us to be a part of, is my opinion.
I'm right there with you.
I try to stay out of anything. I mean, a lot of times if something's going on, I'll close my chat. I won't even say nothing. Just let everything get put out there, and if it gets worked out, it gets worked out. If not, it's not. That's just.
Now, see, there wasn't really, nothing's been really too bad as of late, but I'm with you. A lot of times, unless it's, if I don't, I'm trying to get to know everybody, like all the new cats that came in that I'm not familiar with, specifically like the Middle Fingers group. I don't know them real well yet. So I've kind of, I mean, I've made a few comments here and there about, turnip fingers and stuff like that, but everybody's kind of thrown their 2 cents in. Um, same thing, same thing. You gauge it, you wait and see, how they're going to be, and then they've certainly shown they're in it to play along just like everybody else. So um, it's good to see. I was on the fence there for a minute as to what they were going to bring to the chat, but
Yep. So again, we're not calling out anyone, pointing fingers, and anything. We just,
no, not at all.
like
Not
people, for everybody to just understand that it's a wrestling chat. You're gonna have smack talk and everything. I mean, that's what it's there for. So I mean, just people, all of us as a group just need to learn to kind of roll with the flow and get along. And I think that's all I'm gonna say about the subject, cause don't want to hurt anybody's feelings or piss anybody off. But we're there to get along. We're in the E-Fed about wrestling, smack talk wrestling. Keep all your little, I say keep your personal views to yourself, and then there won't be any drama. And we can enjoy what D-Rod gave us to enjoy. But, you still there?
yeah, I know. I thought you had left there for a minute too. No, I'm here.
Oh, I've been talking. You hadn't heard me?
No, it did. It like I can tell when your mic is on, it sounded like it disconnected for everything. Like it just shut down for a minute, but apparently not. We're good to go.
Okie dokie. Maybe my computer didn't die on me. So you can still hear me now then?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, good. Maybe my computer didn't die then. Sounded like you was having a dog party in the background.
I was wondering if they actually came through. Yes, I've got 4 dogs, 3 Chihuahuas, and a Beagle, and I don't know what they were going apeshit about, but yeah, it'll remain a mystery because I ain't leaving.
Yeah. Thirdgunmen goes missing, and then somebody's broken in his house, and he's ignoring his dogs barking at him.
Yep.
Well, I think that's it, Thirdgunmen. We went over all the questions. We've got your. Oh no, we do have one more thing to do actually, and that's go over this week's Anarchy card. Once we'll go over the Anarchy card, and then we'll close the show down, because this is actually the longest podcast I've done so far.
Yeah, I like to talk. I can be long-winded. Sorry.
No, it's perfectly fine. I mean, ain't nothing wrong with a long podcast. So what we'll do, I'll pull up the Anarchy card, and we'll make our picks on that, and then we will close the show down. So this week on Anarchy, they got a triple threat Rumble qualifier match between Ziggy Geek, Dallas Havoc, and Mike Fulton.
Ziggy's good. Fulton's big, but I'm gonna stick with Dally.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna take Dallas on that one too. It's a pretty good call. I like that call, really good. Really good
Yeah,
call.
I love the dichotomy there. It's brilliant. It's good stuff.
Next match they have is a debut match, which is another Rumble qualifier. They got Kenji versus the debut of John Cena the 16th.
Right, John Cena the 16th. I'm not a real big Cena fan, but I am looking forward to seeing this call. To uh, I'm hoping to be a fan of at least the call. So I'll reserve judgment. I don't know how I could. I mean, it's hard to give it to somebody who's unknown. So I'll just go with a wait and see. Um, and yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, that's kind of a hard match to call too, but I'm gonna take Kenji. Kenji's a pretty good call though,
You're right. He is.
so
He
I'm
is.
gonna have to go with Kenji against the debut. Third match of the night they have a fatal four-way Rumble qualifier, which has Balak Fulton, VIP, Bonesaw, and Alex Cage.
Wow. Some heavy hitters. Uh, I kind of I don't know if he'll pull it out, but I kind of like Alex Cage. So I guess I'll be rooting for him.
Yeah, I
Um,
think I'm gonna have to pull for VIP in this one. He's got a really good call. Although he hasn't done really well the past few weeks, but he's just that call that can come in and take it. I think.
certainly
Mean,
with the potential.
mean green, I think, or red green is his
Red
call
green, yeah.
sign. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take him in that one. Fourth match of the night is a last man standing number one contender for the Twitch Live title between D Rod and Donnie Havoc.
Yeah. I think number one, it's going to be a great match. I think as long as there's no tomfoolery, I think Donnie Havoc takes it. You heard it here.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pull for Donnie in this one. This one too. I think Donnie's got it. Next match is a six-man battle royale for number one contender for the cruiserweight between Alex Cage, Haikiri, Dablo Gunner, Jacob Daniels, Kenji, and Ziggy Geek.
Wow. Hmm. I think the winner of that match will come out fabulously.
So you're taking Haikiri?
Oh yeah, yeah. Sorry, I guess I shouldn't have taken for granted that that would have been. But yeah,
When you
definitely.
said fabulous, that's the only person I could think of was Haikiri.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna have to take Ziggy Geek in that one. I think he's gonna pull that one away. He's got a really good call.
I
Um,
agree. I agree. He
Fifth
does.
match of the night is a steel cage number one contender for the $1 million title, which Haikiri holds right now, between Marcus Beldua and James Autumn.
Wow. Said the man in the land of giants. Uh, I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna call this one for Marcus.
Yeah, cause that's my pick too. Because Marcus always comes into the match angry, and
Right?
it's a steel cage. The only thing I see hindering Marcus is his size, trying to climb out the cage. But I'm gonna go with Marcus too on that one.
But that's the other thing too about them steel cage matches. You can never really tell. I mean, it could go to anybody. I mean, that's a flip a coin, take your pick kind of scenario. Anybody can they get an opportunity. Any one of them could hop over that cage in nothing flat. I mean, that could be an hour long match or a 30-second match. It'll be interesting to see.
Yep, very interesting to see. It's gonna be good. The main event they have scheduled for tonight is a no holds barred match between Creed and Master Funk.
Well, of course, I'm going to go with Master Funk. Uh, Down with the Howboys. That's my motto.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to take my Master Funk in that one too. One, because he's my tag partner, so, and two, he's my son, so how can I not pull for him?
Right.
So, um, but that's the card for Anarchy this week, and you got mine and Thirdgunmen's picks, probably all wrong, but we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, we will find out.
um, Again, great podcast, Third. I'm really glad you decided to join me, and it's been a pleasure having you on the show.
The pleasure was all mine. Again, I thank you so much for inviting me. I enjoyed this thoroughly. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. And again, folks, remember to pick your 3G masterpiece, Cowboy, straight from Alabama, barbecue sauce from your local grocery store. Support Thirdgunmen, and make you some cowboy ribs. I think that'd be really good. That's priceless.
Delicious.
I bet it is. I'm gonna have to buy me some. I'm gonna have to take the sticker off the front, and put it in a frame too. So
Yeah, definitely. That's a
hang it,
collector's item.
hang it up in the podcast room on the wall so I can look at it and be like, I'm sponsoring that. That would be a great idea. All right, buddy. Again, thank you for coming on the show. Um, Great answers to everybody's questions. I think you nailed every one of them right on the head. Appreciate your little bit of thoughts at the end of the show. We may have got a little carried away with that, but I think we hit what needed to be hit on the head there too. But
Hey,
again, buddy,
only called out because I care.
there you go, folks. He cares. Titty back cares.
Titty bag cares. Right. Put that on a shirt.
But I think we're gonna call it a show. And again, I thank you for coming on. May have you on again. Never know.
Hey, I got this Discord thing figured out, man.
Yeah.
I'm here always.
Um, Again, thank you for coming on, and I'm gonna let you go do your thing, and I'm gonna get off this computer and get this video uploaded for the universe. Third Diamond, you have a great night, buddy. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks, GA. You too. The pleasure was all mine, really. Thanks again.
And you have a great night.
Thanks, buddy. You too.
Alright, folks, that was Thirdgunmen. Been a real pleasure having him on the show. Really good answers to the questions. Introduced his barbecue sauce. Got his picks on the upcoming Anarchy card. Picked his brain a little bit. I'm sure Candace is fixing to give him a shock treatment, so figured better let him go. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, as usual. I want to thank D-Rod for the WWC and giving me an opportunity to do this for a great thing. WWC is great. Looking forward to many more of these podcasts. I want to thank our sponsors, Wolfpack Juice Boxes, and now our newest sponsor, 3G Masterpiece Cowboy, straight out of Bama barbecue sauce. I want to thank JR for supporting Thirdgunmen with his barbecue sauce. Again, great show tonight. Again, thank y'all for watching, and I will talk to y'all next podcast, which will be number 5. And everyone have a